Boxers, you both received my instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. All right, I expect a good, clean fight. Let's touch gloves.
One of the glossiest nights of boxing I've ever attended. 61,000 people here at the home of the Schalke Football Club, the Veltins Arena in Gelsenkirchen in the Ruhr in Germany, where Wladimir Klitschko is a monumental hero. Supposed to be fighting Britain's David Haye tonight. Haye got injured. In comes Ruslan Chagaev, the former WBA champion, a dangerous substitute who was ready to go himself because he was supposed to have fought Nikolai Valuev 3 weeks ago. So he's fit for this one. Tremendous atmosphere in this sumptuous arena. We've had rock bands, champagne bars, cordon bleu cooking. It almost feels like Royal Ascot here. The red of the defending champion here, Wladimir Klitschko, unbeaten in the last 5 years, but he has been floored and upset in the past. Can Chagaev's speed get to him here tonight, I wonder, Jim?
Well, Klitschko does have a bad habit sometimes of toying with the left jab, not throwing it out. If he does that, Chagaev certainly has the speed to get inside there and maybe test that vulnerable chin that we know Klitschko has. But we'll see if he thumps the jab out against the southpaw, fine. But if he toys with it, he could find himself in trouble.
Very, very dominant behind the left jab, usually Wladimir Klitschko. Up to Chagaev to get to him, to have the belief, to be bold enough. He is unbeaten in his career so far, Chagaev. He didn't lose the WBA title out of the ring, and he won't be intimidated by the size because he beat Nikolai Valuev, the beast from the east, as he's called, who's a 7-foot fighter. He was giving away something like 6 stones that night.
And I like the way he started here. He's trying to get close straight away. He's not standing off, he's not thinking about the job. He's obviously done all of his thinking in the gymnasium. He's right down to business. Klitschko's jab, he's snapping it out now. But Chagaev is getting close.
Be good tonight if Wladimir Klitschko could put on a show as well as being effective.
Well, he has all the attributes. He's, a tremendous physical specimen, the strength, the power, the size, everything. Just maybe at times not the temperament. I'm hoping he'll be inspired by this huge event, a huge crowd he'll want to put on the show of his life, we're hoping.
Chagaev will believe, that's for certain. The man from Uzbekistan, though it should be said both these fighters are based in Hamburg, Germany. This is almost their adopted country, although I should point out too that Wladimir Klitschko also has a home in Beverly Hills. He's become something of a world star and was in Ocean's 11, the film, alongside Lennox Lewis.
Chagaev just struggling to get by the left hand of Klitschko to get himself in range now. Klitschko timing the jab well already. Good head movement from Chagaev. He knows exactly what he wants to do. But Klitschko, very difficult to pin down, especially when he's in safety mode.
That's the problem for Chagaev, to get past the jab, and there's the first of the right hand from the man they call Dr. Steelhammer. It's a heavy, heavy weapon, that.
And the fact that Chagaev, the way he's having to move in quickly, he won't be getting real purchase in his punches, but Klitschko certainly did.
Live in the corner of Ruslan Chagaev, the coach Michael Tim, who will be in the corner for Andreas Katalnik for his delayed fight with Amir Khan coming up on July the 18th. And there is the famed trainer Emmanuel Stewart, who goes back nearly 30 years at the top in boxing. Thomas Hearns, of course, his biggest star, but there have been so many. He is with Wladimir Klitschko, the WBO and IBF heavyweight champion. Those are the belts that are on the line tonight, as well as the IBO version too, incidentally.
Well, good opening round. Chagaev pressed all the way through, trying to get close. He knows the plan he's bringing in, just trying to get close again, mess Klitschko around. But Klitschko's jab was good, and just towards the end of the round, a couple of thumping right hands.
He's been a little bit easier to hit in some of his recent fights as well, Chagaev, despite his speed. At one time they were calling him the White Tyson, a nickname they still used in the introductions tonight. He has been suffering, though, from injuries and illness in recent times, which might have just taken the edge off him. But let's see what he's got here.
See, Klitschko's very clever with the left hand because he extends the glove first of all, then he only has another 6 inches or so to put onto the jab and it hits the target. Difficult to get past. He's not ploying with it, but he is extending it and then just snapping at the last 6 inches, but it's breaking all the concentration of Chagaev.
Well, that's what Emmanuel Stewart says, Jim, that this fellow Klitschko just controls the fight. He makes you fight his kind of fight every time. You can't get close to him. He won't let you fight on the inside against him.
But there are times when the referee should be pulling him up because he puts his left hand on opponents and holds them off. And he started to do a little bit of that just a couple of seconds ago, just to hold them off. He is a very nervous fighter. He has no confidence whatsoever in his own chin. It's let him down so many times. So he's very careful, but signs are good tonight. He's standing in range and you can see he's looking for that right hand, and Chagaev is making him fight.
Chagaev's very wary about that right hand himself. That's the danger for him, that if he gets too bold, he leaves himself open for that punch. He's got a terrific knockout record, and there is the punch. The right hand, down goes Chagaev, and we're only in round 2. Mandatory 8.
Well, we're hoping Klitschko would respond to the event here in the crowd, and he certainly has. Tremendous right hand again.
He's unbeaten in the last 5 years since being upset by Lamont Brewster. Has been down 11 times in his career, Wladimir Klitschko, which is amazing really for a top heavyweight. Can be vulnerable, but Chagaev down early.
Yep, and he still can't deal with Klitschko's left jab. Again, Klitschko extending the arm first of all, then snapping it the rest of the way towards the target.
10-8 round for Klitschko with the knockdown. And just look at the scene here. Chagaev, if he didn't know before, he knows now this is going to be a tough night.
I don't think it was a punch with any lasting damage. You can see a kind of slight look of embarrassment and surprise, if you like, Chagaev. But look at the way, the impact to the legs. But he's a tough man himself. His head has cleared. But I wonder, will he cut down on the aggression? Will he come up with something else? I don't know if he'll be able to do that.
His concentration as a fight goes.
There were doctors in America who put out a statement saying that Chagaev shouldn't have fought tonight because of unnatural levels of hepatitis B. In fact, Finland, the people there, the authorities, called off his fight for that very reason with Nikolai Valuev. But here he's been cleared to fight, and the local promoters say that the American doctors had that all wrong. Chagaev is fit, he is ready, there isn't a problem. Wladimir Klitschko, though, the champion, in control here early in the red trunks. The German-based Ukrainian.
It's been a positive performance so far from Klitschko. Still nervous any time Chagaev gets close, but that's always been the case. Good work there from Chagaev.
Does that make Chagaev a little more gun-shy and cautious himself? Because he needs, really, to be bold. I think anyone who fights Wladimir Klitschko ought to get out the video of the way Corey Sanders destroyed him in 2 rounds and floored him 4 times. And Sanders told me before that fight he was only there, really, for a payday. He'd already decided to retire.
But you have to have the power in the first place to do that. I'm not sure that Chagaev has that power. And the way he's having to leap in with the punches, he's not set himself, his balance isn't right. So there won't be full purchase in his shots, even when he does land. See the way he's having to reach with the punches. He's walking right onto that right hand again.
Beautifully picked. by Wladimir Klitschko. He's always been a pretty good technician. He was Olympic champion at the age of 20 in Atlanta in 1996.
I mean, times in the past, Klitschko's like to chisel away at an opponent, take all the resistance out of them before he starts moving in with the right hand. But he's straight in right away here. He wants to do a job tonight in front of this massive crowd. Looking good.
Can't miss with the jab either. Some of them are hitting the gloves, but most finding their way through, ramming the head back. He's very good, really, at just altering the range imperceptibly with that punch as well.
And although Chagaev is coming forward, he's not really pressurising Klitschko. He's not getting close, he's not drawing mistakes from him. Klitschko still controlling his own boxing pace and really working well with the left jab.
Can't get inside either, Chagaev. There's another jab.
I mean, Chagaev is doing exactly what you would expect him to do, what you would tell him to do to try to get close. But to be honest, in the early stages, Klitschko is just too good for him. There's that right hand again, beautiful.
You just wonder how long it is before he finds another real corker of a right hand and maybe put Chagaev on the floor again. Totally dominant early on. No alarms whatsoever for the man who's the huge favourite of the massive crowd here tonight. They're claiming it's a European indoor record in modern times, this 61,000 in here.
And Chagaev forced onto the back foot, and from there he has no chance.
Welcome back to Gelsenkirchen, the home of one of the best supported clubs in the Bundesliga, Schalke, and also where England played Portugal in the World Cup. An unhappy night for England, knocked out on penalties, and Wayne Rooney sent off about 25 yards from where we're sitting here in the middle of the arena. Here's the fourth round, the red trunks of defending champion Wladimir Klitschko. He's 33 now, the younger of the two brothers. Vitaly, WBC champion, has made a successful comeback in recent times, and of course is here tonight. They say they will never fight each other, and I think that's right as well, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, you wouldn't expect brothers to fight each other. But Klitschko now pushing Chagaev onto the back foot, and if this pattern continues, then really you wonder, it's just a case of how long can Chagaev hang on in there. He is a class operator. Excellent pedigree, unbeaten, but he hasn't made any impression whatsoever so far.
Needs more head movement. He's trying to do that as well, Chagaev, trying to think his way through, more bobbing and weaving, almost old style Frazier-like, which is what you need really against this guy. Otherwise he's just going to pop that jab in your face all the time and follow it with big booming rights.
See, you have to draw jabs from an opponent, not allow them to throw it when they're ready to throw it. But Klitschko, he's controlling things again, extending that arm, and it's almost at the target by the time he throws it. He started palming Chagaev's hands away. That's another thing he does which is in breach of the rules. Referees let him away with it at times. You know, he pushes opponents' hands away. He's got all the tricks and they just come naturally to him.
By the way, the referee keeping an eye on some of those tricks is Eddie Cotton, who handled Lennox Lewis v Mike Tyson in the Pyramid Arena in Memphis. Big night for Lennox that, taking Tyson out in the 8th. There's another right, this time to the temple. Heavy looking shots, he can't keep on taking these, Jim.
He can't, but to his credit, he's trying to raise the tempo now. He's trying to take the pace away, if you like, from Klitschko, who's controlling things at the moment. There is a little bit of head movement, but he just has no answer to Klitschko's left hand.
Can't get his shots away either, Chagaev, because of that.
See, Klitschko is also so athletic for such a big man, so good on his feet, difficult to get close, and the fact that he's so careful because of the vulnerability of his chin, that makes it even more difficult to pin down.
Trying his best to solve the problems. There is more movement from the waist, there is more head movement. He hasn't been hit with quite as many jabs in this session. trying to solve the problems. There's another of those big rights.
And at least he is making Klitschko work a little bit harder. I don't know if that will pay dividends. He is a tough man. Most of the punches he's taken are landing on the forehead, which he should be able to handle. If those same punches were on the chin, he'd be on the floor again. So he's warm to the task. But again, it's all Klitschko.
Keep working the jab, keep busting him up.
Левый, правый снизу. Попробуй, который ты делал на разминке. Должно идти хорошо, как раз нагибаться. Только сдваивать нужно.
Well, Wladimir Klitschko in dominant form here again. It's amazing that 58,000 people had bought tickets expecting to see Hay fight this fella tonight. Hardly any of them offered refunds, elected to take it. A lot of the British fans had flown out to see this anyway and be part of it. Is a big happening here tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge event. And I think the fact that Klitschko has been preparing for David Hay, who is a very quick heavyweight, that'll be another reason he'll really be sharp. I'm sure he's worked on speed and sharpness himself, and it's really paid off because his reflexes so far have been bang on.
Did work for a bit of speed with British heavyweight Michael Sprott, who's on this bill tonight. You'll see him later. And also Chris Bird, twice a victim of Wladimir Klitschko in the past, was brought into the camp late on after Hay had pulled out and they knew they'd be facing the southpaw Chagaev.
But Klitschko has completely taken the jab away from Chagaev, so the fact that he's a southpaw is really of no consequence in the fight at the moment. Klitschko's left hand is controlling the fight and his right hand is the one doing the damage. There it is again.
Big booming right hand. Chagaev took that well, to be fair to him, but it was a heavy shot.
You just wonder, I mean, he is a tough man, Chagaev, but you wonder how many of these he can take before he starts losing heart. And obviously easier to knock a man out when he's lost heart.
Somewhere David Hay will be watching this and assessing, I'm sure, hoping that that big fight will be revived in the autumn. I'm sure they'll sell it because they were captivated by Hay, and some said his rather tasteless campaign to sell the fight, but he did the job all right, and of course he was just
a low blow.
Doing the selling.
Yeah, that one was low. Although Klitschko pulled him down as he was delivering the punch, so it wasn't intentional. I think the fact that Klitschko was leaning down on his shoulders misdirected the punch a little bit.
More imposing tonight, isn't he, Wladimir Klitschko, than when we featured him in New York. You were at ringside that night against Sultan Ibragimov, and
that was a terrible night.
Yeah, he was dire that night, wasn't he?
And what was so annoying, you know what he's capable of, you know he could be so much better than that, and that's what he's proving tonight. His mind's on the job, his boxing's superb, the power's there, the speed, the accuracy, everything. He's really looking the complete package tonight.
Just not letting Chagaev into this fight at all. Not yet. And he doesn't intend to either. It's a lockout at the moment. And a shutout on the scorecards as well.
And again, the way Chagaev is having to leap in with the punches, even if he lands, there'll be no power. He's not setting himself properly. There's no leverage in the shots. So even if he lands them, I don't think he'll have any impression on Klitschko.
Another round in the bank for Wladimir. A picture of frustration. Ruslan Chagaev from Uzbekistan. How do you solve a problem like Wladimir?
Well, Chagaev is an excellent fighter, a genuine world-class former world champion himself. He's never been in a situation where he can't even land a worthwhile punch on an opponent. I don't think he can believe the gap in class between himself and Wladimir Klitschko tonight. He just cannot even get started here.
Part of Chagaev's sparring has been with Darlington's Chris Burton, a runner-up in the prizefighter series back home. In the black trunks here, challenging for this IBF and WBO version of the world heavyweight crown, which Wladimir Klitschko has turned into his own private property. And he doesn't look really in the mood to let go, does he?
You know, he's completely dominating Klitschko, but it's amazing when he missed with the right hand there. You can see the panic in case that a counter was coming back. I don't think that fear of taking a punch will ever leave him, but I think all it does is, I think he feeds on that and it makes him a better fighter.
There have been one or two who've accused him of being more than cautious, gun-shy in one or two contests.
But you can't accuse him of that tonight. He's standing his ground, he's boxing beautifully, he's delivering beautiful punches, well delivered, powerful. No, this is an excellent performance from him. Why should he take punches if he doesn't have to? He's engaging here. This is really well worth watching, and haven't always said that about Klitschko.
Timing really good with the jab. Range right, and busy enough too. It's what Lennox Lewis used to do a lot of the time in his career. He wouldn't give his opponent chances that didn't actually exist. Why let a guy into a fight when he's not into it?
Yep, and the pattern set here. Klitschko maybe moving back a bit more often than he was in the earlier rounds, maybe backing off out of there. To his credit, Chagaev hasn't stopped trying. He's still doing the same things, because that's obviously the plan they thought would work when they were preparing for this. I don't think he has a plan B. But he's sticking with it, to his credit. Who knows, when the pace slows, if he's still there, could it start working? See, that's the extended left hand of Klitschko again. Chagaev just cannot get close. So effective with it. Not always maybe following the letter of the law in boxing, but just completely takes away what your opponent's got.
Chagaev has a reputation for being quite fast, but I don't think he's anything like as fast as David Haye, should Haye get his chance with Wladimir Klitschko. And of course David Haye has a punch as well, even if he looks a bit vulnerable himself sometimes. So worth assessing as you're watching this how you think Haye might get on against a man who looks pretty masterful in there tonight.
Yeah, but he is a natural puncher, so if he gets close, even if he's not fully balanced, there'll still be power in the shots, but not in Chagaev's.
Well, 6 rounds gone. I don't think Chagaev's won a round so far. I don't think anybody in the crowd, probably his best friends, could have given him one.
No, and he's also been on the floor, which hasn't helped his cause. I think we've seen pretty much what Chagaev has. I think he's going to continue doing this as long as he's in there, and hope that some of the steam will leave Klitschko's work. But Klitschko's looking so strong, totally dominant, and not even really out of breath at the end of the rounds. Everything been done completely within himself.
Softerman pointed out in the past, and I know Boxing News, the trade newspaper, pointed out this week, you've had upsets when people have come in as late substitutes. Remember, Lennox Lewis was supposed to fight Kirk Johnson, he was off. Vitaly Klitschko came in as Boris Becker. Topical shot, of course, with Wimbledon coming up. And Vitaly gave Lennox Lewis a very, very tough fight before Cutts ended it. And remember how Bert Cooper came in late against Ivana Holyfield and nearly knocked him out. But no sign of the upset here, is there? Not yet.
No, and I think a lot of that is down to the temperament of Wladimir Klitschko. He would never go near a boxing ring if he wasn't 100% prepared, 100% ready, 100% fit. And he's all of those things tonight, and really everything he does, class.
Coming quite light as well for him, hasn't he? Built a bit more for extra speed, 17 stone 2 pounds. He looks sleek almost, doesn't he, for a big man?
That may be because of the original opponent. He maybe wanted to be quick, wanted to be sharp, and that's what he's been. Everything he's done tonight has been sharp.
One round building up as rather like the one before. And the problem is really it needs a little more drama. It needs Chagaev to get more competitive somehow, but you can't see it, not the way it's going.
I've got to be honest, Ian, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Okay, I would enjoy it more if Chagaev had a bit of success and injected a little bit of drama. But I think you have to appreciate a world champion going through the gears, showing what he can do, when so many times I've been disappointed by Klitschko. Not tonight.
These two part of the current East European domination in heavyweight boxing. The balance has shifted away from the United States for the moment.
You know, Klitschko is making Chagaev look so pedestrian, so ordinary. Probably when this is over, he won't get the credit he deserves. But we have to remember, Chagaev undefeated, he's beaten Valiev as well. This guy knows the business, but he's just not at the races, and he's been cut over the left eye as well. Yeah,
there's a cut for Chagaev to add to his trouble. He gets a little closer for once there, tries to dive in.
And straight away you see Klitschko grabbing. That's just a natural instinct with him. You just wonder if Chagaev could get close and get a couple of punches on target. Would Klitschko's chin let him down again?
Has done once or twice in the past, but not for a fair old while now. It's getting quite a long time ago that he had the upsets against Ross Purity, Corey Sanders and Lamont Brewster. The only 3 defeats in a 55-fight career that's gone on now for 13 years. He certainly knows his way around this business. Oh, there's a left hand from Chagaev right on the bell. Right on the bell. He's not happy about that.
I thought it was after the bell, Ian. I thought it was after the bell.
I was trying to be kind.
That was after, yeah.
And the German crowd didn't like that either. But what they're witnessing at the moment is total domination from Wladimir Klitschko. It's interesting tonight, they have a different kind of crowd in there. Are many, many, many more women present. I said earlier when we were talking with the champagne around, it's almost like a Royal Ascot type of feel in parts of this arena.
Yes, in fact, there's a lot of hospitality customers here tonight, not boxing fans probably, people who just like a good night out, and they're having that. Now just the first little sign, yep, I mean you can see the referee was breaking them up because the bell had already sounded. Chagaev apologised straight away, so the punch, no question, was after the bell. But he did force Klitschko to hold just a few seconds before that. The good news, he hasn't given up. He's putting as much into it as he was in the first couple of rounds. So he's sticking with the job. And as soon as he gets close, the natural thing is for Klitschko to grab hold.
Trying to stay in it and hoping for one moment of drama that might turn the whole thing on its head. That's all he can hope for, really. Ruslan Chagaev here. Wladimir is back to work, back in the old routine.
You know, there are so many tall fighters in the game who never really learn how to use the physical advantages. But this is a lesson in how to do that. Klitschko, the left hand is completely controlling the fight, keeping Chagaev under control, breaking his concentration every other second. Just can't get past it, can't deal with it.
Jab and then move, usually away to the left. Fire in a right, move again, change the angle. Look to pop another jab. Moving away mostly from Chagaev's left hook. Good covering up there by Chagaev. Took them on the gloves, those right hands. That was nice and tight from him.
Yeah, and his chin's down too, so again he's taken the brunt of the punch on his forehead. So you're able to do that. And also when you know punches are coming regularly, you're tensed, you know, to take the impact of the shot. This is good stuff from Klitschko now, beginning to dominate.
And he may be looking to step it up. He may feel he's softened up Chagaev enough to start looking for a finish to conclude the argument around the 8th round. The cut's got a bit worse on the left eye of the man from Uzbekistan. Just for a moment got a little disorganised almost for the first time over on those ropes.
He doesn't cope well with pressure, Klitschko, but it's so difficult to pressurise him. He's so mobile for a man his size and weight. He's just so mobile.
We're well past the point where that cut, if it was to stop the fight, would in any way save Chagaev. They'd go to the scorecards, and the scorecards would say that Wladimir Klitschko is miles and miles in front.
But Ian, it wasn't a clash of heads that caused it, it's punches that caused it, so even if the cut did stop the fight, it wouldn't go to the cards.
No, I mean, he hasn't past missed that point anyway, aren't we? But
yeah, past that point anyway.
Bit more venom in some of these right hands now from Klitschko. In those 52 wins he's had, only 6 people have lasted the distance. So the power's there, all right, isn't it?
No question. Everything is there. Just that little thing missing in his temperament. He's not a warrior. If he was that, it would be the complete article that why should he be? This is it's not an easy night's work for him, but a clear victory so far.
Currently on a run of 10 consecutive victories. Wladimir Klitschko, Emmanuel Stewart there will have devised the strategy. It's the usual one, in fact, because it works. Chagaev, problems. Quite a nasty cut.
You know, they shouldn't be giving him water and getting him spitting all that. When you're cut, all the attention should be on the cut. I mean, a rinse of water doesn't make you feel an awful lot better. And there we're seeing the punches that caused the damage. Again, to his credit, Chagaev hasn't stopped trying, still hoping maybe he can just land that one punch that can turn this whole thing around, but hasn't managed it yet.
Early out for work as well. Roof's on tonight here. Rainy night outside, but everybody cozy and warm and enjoying a masterful display here by Wladimir Klitschko. Again, he wouldn't have lost too many rounds, would he, apart from those 3 upset defeats he's had in that long career.
No, I mean, he is an excellent boxer. I mean, he did have a stamina problem in the early part of his career, but with maturity and experience and everything else, and the fact that tonight he's worked pretty much at his own pace most of the time, so even if he still did have a stamina problem, it wouldn't show itself tonight. He's so much in control here.
If he did fight his brother, who'd win for you?
I like Vitaly. I think in a hard fight, he's the one who has the chin. He would go that little step further than Wladimir would, but we'll never find out.
I'm with you on that one. Doesn't quite get there with the right hand. He's headhunted all night. I don't think there's been a body punch in this assault, has there, the whole way?
No, because you have to go that little bit closer to land the body shots. Wladimir is quite happy at long range, but he has the length in his arms to land, and Chagaev does not.
It's an 81-inch reach, a 7-inch reach advantage over the comparatively short and squat Ruslan Chagaev. And remember, he's beating a man who's never been beaten.
Yep, and a man who's been champion himself. And a decent champion at that. There's the right hand again. Can't get near Klitschko's chin.
But this jab must be absolutely sickening by now for Chagaev.
Yeah, and it's the fact, even when it's not landing, it's right in your face. He's waving it in front of your face. It's breaking your concentration, and it's setting up that right hand so perfectly.
You just get the sense that he's winding himself up maybe for a finishing burst if he can find it. Wladimir Klitschko. Chagaev is laying around on those ropes. Maybe he's just trying to entice Klitschko in and hope to get lucky with a countering left hook.
Well, he's looking straight back at Klitschko. Again, he's taking those punches high. And no signs of distress from him. He is a tough man. So maybe he's just hoping against hope he'll get a chance to let one of his own punches go. It's not looking like it.
Excitement level in the crowd. Turned up, another big right from Wladimir Klitschko. He's teeing off here on Chagaev, who's taking these very, very bravely, but they're heavy shots, and you wonder really how he is. Somehow in all of that the bell went and we missed it. Nobody heard it. Such was the din from 61,000 fans, some of whom are on their feet applauding.
Well, this is as good as I have ever seen Wladimir Klitschko. This is a superb performance, punch perfect. Hasn't made a mistake, hasn't taken a worthwhile punch himself in the 9 completed rounds, and really dominated that round. The amount of punches landed, you know, you could have scored at 10-8. It was so one-sided. Again, full credit to Chagaev. No signs that he's even thinking about quitting, but cannot get started, hasn't been allowed into the fight. And these are hurtful shots. Klitschko is teeing off on him then, full power behind those punches. What are they saying here? Are they asking him, does he want out of there?
They're shaking their heads in that corner. It's over. We're pulling him out of the fight. Wladimir Klitschko retains the title, keeps up this long unbeaten run he's on at the moment. Utterly dominant from beginning to end. Punch perfect. That was a statement of a master at work. There's brother Vitaly. Chagaev could do no more. They knew it in the corner, and it is all over at the end of round 9. And there was never ever a moment's doubt about it.
Well, I always like to see a corner showing a bit of common sense. You can see their faces when you can see them whispering in the fighters' ears. They want him out of there. He's a proud man. There were no signs that quitting even crossed his mind. But what was the point letting this continue? He wasn't even landing punches on Klitschko. He was outclassed, and there's no shame in saying that, because Klitschko was superb in every department tonight. Outstanding performance from him.
And while America looks for a man to follow on from the likes of Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Holmes, Holyfield, Bowe and Tyson, the East Europeans continue to dominate, and it'll take a very good man, you feel, at the moment to dethrone Wladimir Klitschko. Chagaev here beaten for the first time.
Probably David Haye has a better chance than anyone of beating Klitschko, because he has the power. He can hurt him with one punch. But I have to say, again, after tonight's performance, I'd be leaning towards Klitschko, because with that little doubt he has in his mind about his own chin makes him even more difficult to catch. Haye, we know, will commit himself, take the chances, and this guy is so big and so powerful.
We wait for the official announcement from MC Michael Buffer, but well, they must be very, very happy men. Always a little bit tricky when the opponent changes with a couple of weeks to go, which is what happened here. And Chagaev didn't look like any pushover kind of substitute. He was fit and ready to go for another fight himself, but he could never ever get into it. And those are the hands that did the damage. He's a hero to the people here in Germany. They love him, they appreciate him. He's selling the tickets, and I think, having spoken to a few people here this weekend, that fight against David Haye, should they get all the money in place for it again, is going to happen. I think people over here want to see that now after all the hype that's gone on around it. But you saw there how tough a night it's going to be for David Haye. He's going to have to be very, very special to dethrone this fella.
I mean, this is when Klitschko started to put the pedal to the floor. He had Chagaev under control all night long, but now he decided to step in and finish the job. Chagaev kept his eyes on Klitschko all the way through, took the punches high in the forehead, but what was the point letting that continue? And that was the little telltale whisper in the ear, telling him, what is the point, Ruslan, and get me out of here.
And he's milking it